Tristan is in low gearbox. They're going to set off at a roughly 900 to 1,000 revs. They're going to set off in a straight line. You'll see straight away that Amanda will actually start to take the lead. But Tristan's got a little surprise in store for Amanda. Okay, guys and gals. Now, as you can see, Amanda's already taken the lead. But what's this? Ha-ha! Tristan's got a little surprise for her. Because of Tristan's ability to be in low gearbox, he's actually got the ability to climb, which is a lot more than what I have sometimes. He's got more control over the vehicle, but if you can hear, he's still not exerting a lot of revs. However, Amanda is revving away. She's in high box, she's going around there. She's taking a lot longer journey. Tristan's still going on, even steeper climb now. I'm going to give up just there. I'll let Tristan go on his own. That's a little demonstration there of what the difference is. If Amanda had tried that in high gearbox, trust me, she would have stalled the car. Why would she have stalled the car? Let's show you that now. Okay, we're back here with Tristan and Amanda again. Same vehicles. Now this is the hill that a little while ago Tristan came up and caught up with Amanda when she was in the high gear box. So why didn't Amanda come this way? Well, it's because she was in a high gear box and she hadn't got a lot of revs on. She wasn't developing a lot of torque. What's torque? Well, torque is the ability to turn something at low revs. It's the engine's pulling power. Now, unless you actually get a few revs on, so you need to accelerate gently up a hill, you can actually drop off what they call the torque curve. So you've got no power in your engine. We're going to demonstrate that now, how using the low gearbox actually alters the torque figures. It actually brings in that torque that little bit lower down. So, Amanda's in the high box, Tristan's in the low box. Let's go. Now, once again, you'll see Amanda just shoots off, but whoops-a-daisy, look what's happened. She hasn't continually kept accelerated. Tristan, however, because he's in the low gearbox, doesn't need to. He's slowly pulling himself up this hill, just like my leg muscles, just pulling away gently. Got all the time in the world. He can read the terrain. Very important part of off-road driving, obviously, is the ability to read the terrain. Going slow like that gives you that ability to do it. So, we've just showed you Amanda failing the hill and Tristan clearing it with no problem. Let's now go over to hill climbs. Let's teach you how to do those. You've just seen Amanda fail a hill in first gear, high box, and then Tristan just trickled past her on tick over. Let's try a little bit steeper hill. But first of all, a few relevant points that you really ought to look out for. Ground reading skills. What are they? It's the ability to look at the ground. Now, look at this bit here. You see the ground's been polished off. That's where the underneath of one of the vehicles earlier on has actually impacted on the ground. That could impede the vehicle's progress, but also damage the underneath of the car. If you look further down the hill, look at the deep ruts. So you've got to ascertain what ground clearance you've got. And remember, it's your diff, your axle, or your springs on a Series Land Rover, or the hole underneath of the car on a Freelander. Now, Tristan's going to come up this hill the first time in first gear, low gearbox, with the diff lock in. If you notice at the moment as well, Ray's sitting just out of shot. In case Tristan found it and he went hurtling back down here, it would actually smack straight into the back of Ray. Very, very expensive. So never ever follow anybody up a hill. Okay, let's see what Tristan can do. Okay, Tristan. Now, as I said before, this is purely for demonstration purposes. He's just coming into it nice and slowly. Look at the ground clearance. Watch the wheels, look at the ground clearance. The diff is very, very close. A slight spin on the front wheel just then, but nothing special. And why? Why wasn't there anything special? Because of the traction, because of the tyres, which we'll come to in a moment. Here comes Ray. Now, look at the clearance on the spoiler on the front. Actually got slightly chunkier tyres on as well. So up he comes. Now this vehicle is fitted with traction control. As you saw then, the wheel started to spin, and as Ray decelerated, the tyre stopped spinning. Now that was probably a dual method there. By decelerating, it allows the tyre to actually regain traction, but also the traction control. Cut in. So that was fine, that was easy. Why was it easy? The torque of the vehicle and the traction and the tyres. As you can see now, we've conveniently wetted this hill. With the chalk content on it, it's made it very, very slippy. And also, always remember, when the vehicle goes up a hill, the weight transfer is towards the back axle. So the front axle is the one that becomes the one with the least resistance. So now I'm going to get Tristan to come up there in first gear, low gearbox, with the diff lock in. And let's see if he can rely on traction this time to get him up. Okay, Tristan. So here he comes again. Just slightly accelerating, which you should always do into the hill. Just keep accelerating gently into the hill. And he's backed off a bit there, look at that. The wheels are spinning. As you can see on the front axle, the driver's gone to the wheel with the least resistance. Also on the back as well, we're down to two-wheel drive and we're getting nowhere. Hasn't he made it halfway up the hill? Okay, Tristan, stop. Now, what Tristan has actually done now is actually done a failed hill climb technique, but we're going to come to that in a minute. Tristan's going to go back down the hill now and he's going to use momentum. He's going to engage second gear and he's actually going to accelerate into the hill and continue accelerating up the hill until he gets the car level on the top, and then he decelerates, which gives him time to assess the situation again and actually manoeuvre out of the hill. So here we are, second gear, accelerating into the hill. Okay, Tristan. Now, even with standard road type tyres on, this technique will get you up the hill. Up the car comes, look, a little bit of, and as he decelerates there, even though he got a little bit of wheel spin, the fact that he can decelerate actually put him back into traction again. That's why second gear is a lot preferable, second or even third gear in some engines. If you come up there in first gear, it's too responsive. You put the throttle down, it's instant hit at the wheels spin. Remember, you always need to keep constantly accelerating up a hill. Not excessively, just gradually. You need that ability to be able to decelerate just fractionally, which I say will allow the wheels to regain traction again. Now we're going to try Ray with the Series 2 Discovery. Let's see what Ray does with traction control. So as you can see, he's coming up. Same as Tristan was the first time. First gear. Now there's no diff lock on this vehicle. It's actually got a viscous coupling. So it automatically selects. He gets wheel spin. Look at it, look. As you can see, the brakes are being applied, it's sending it across the car. But because of the little lip on the right-hand wheel there, it cannot get up the hill. You can see what the traction control is doing. It's actually sending it across the axle. It's trying to get it to grip, but it can't do it. Okay, Ray, stop, please. Why didn't Ray make that hill, even with traction control? Well, if you take a look at the front right-hand wheel, there's actually a rock sticking out. It's increased his resistance. The tyres couldn't even grip on that one. As you saw, the traction control was actually, it was sending it across the axle. It was trying to give it a grip, but it just didn't work because of the resistance. So how do you overcome resistance? Well, momentum helps that. And what is momentum? It's the car's kinetic energy. It's speed and mass together. So we're going to go back down this hill now, and Ray's going to come up, as Tristan did, in second gear, accelerating into the hill. And even on your standard family four-wheel drive vehicle, with standard basic off-road tyres, momentum will actually get you up this hill. Okay, Ray, let's try that one, please. Always remember to back far enough away. Too many people stop right at the base of the hill. The speed that you can get up from the front of the bonnet to the base of the hill, that depicts the amount of momentum, kinetic force the car's generating. Okay, Ray. Now he's starting off in second gear. Remember, you can do that. And look at this. Up the hill, a little bit of wheel spin, but the traction control just cured that straight away. No problems at all. So, that's the basic way to tackle hills. Just a few other pointers though. Remember one thing, open hillsides on wet slippy grass are probably a definite no-no. Use a hill like this one, if you have the chance. One that's got ruts in it. That way you're a little bit like a Scalextric driver. It keeps you in there. The worst thing that can possibly happen is if you go up a hill and the car actually goes off of line, left or right, because the weight of the vehicle can actually carry it through and put you in a potential slide and tip over situation. Now, As we've mentioned previously, setting the vehicle up, lining it up for its descent, for its ascent, for any particular piece of ground that you're going through, especially undulating ground. But look at this here. Tristan's positioned this car now. He's just slightly off the track. But what's going to happen? Well, two things. First of all, the car's going to slide into the ruts. It's going to position Tristan. It's going to say, Tristan, get in here, boy, it's safer. But Tristan, as he did on the side slopes earlier on, will turn into it because he'll think he should be over there. Well, as he turns into it, he's going to increase the resistance. But let's just see that. Okay, Tristan. Now off he comes. He's coming up very slowly. He thinks he's doing it right. And it slides in. Bang, look, he's turned into it. And he's put more lock on. And just that increase in resistance has actually stopped him as well. If you look at the front of that car now, the tyres are actually turned into the ruts. The sidewalls are actually taking one hell of a pounding, or they could be on slightly narrower ruts. So remember that. We very rarely ever, on our training vehicles, wear a set of tyres out. Normally the sidewalls are slashed, and it's something you don't think about. It is the weakest part of the tyre on some of the tyres. Another point to remember in the future when you're selecting equipment for your vehicle, think in the future. Don't think in the next few weeks, because you may progress into something more adventurous. Hill climbs, failed hill climbs. Why do you fail a hill? Well, there's two reasons. You either run out of traction and just literally sit there with the wheel spinning, or you've selected the wrong gear, or your engine hasn't got enough torque and you've stalled it on the hill. Let's show you two recovery methods now to get safely out of a failed hill climb. So I'm approaching the hill, I'm making sure my diff lock's on my Defender, on my early Discovery, on my Range Rover, and I'm accelerating into the hill very gently, holding the wheel firmly, selecting the most direct, safe route up the hill. But I'm not accelerating too much into it, which I really should be. And I get to a point, then there's resistance, and as you can see, and you can hear, the wheels are spinning, and I'm stuck. There is no point in sitting there, accelerating, it won't do anything. You clutch and brake at the same time.